So here is the haul video, Midtown Comics, NYC. Paper packaging. This is that First Day of Groot youth book. It's going to be an entertaining gift. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. We have some variants. See, this is the Midtown Comics glare there. And then we have a Carnage variant, the new Absolute Carnage run. Not a Midtown exclusive, but just a nice variant. Being a big shop, they can get all of that. And we have Image Firsts. Heard good things about the series, and so I saw that the firsts are always neat and expensive way. Check out the first issue of the series. In the same vein, Image Firsts. Hadn't heard anything about this, but I thought the cover art was interesting, so I grabbed that. And these are the Marvel reprints. Already have a New Mutants 98. But these are really cool. Some people don't like them, but I really actually adore the idea of taking the original comic, reprinting all of it, including ads. You know, here's these just painfully 90s sport ball card ads and stuff in there. You know, that's just so incredibly 90s. And you've got, you know, a better print quality for all the artwork than you'd ever see, and you get to still have the kind of, you know, just so 90s. You still get, you know, the actual experience flipping through it in a normal comic format. And, you know, once again, the beautiful... It's just it's amazing to see how much Deadpool evolved. You know, you look at the original and he's so tall and lean in a lot of the shots. Even look at the beautiful cover. Same thing with Domino. Very different looking. But these are great. Obviously no one's going to mistake it for the original, but I think it's a really fun thing to do. Same thing here, you know, you've got Giant Size X-Men #1, book I don't own. I don't know if I'll ever own one, but, you know, here you get to have all of it, the real experience, and a really good, and, you know, and all these where you can see the sheen on it, you know, these would have all been, even if you have the original, a lot of times, and it's not slabbed, you're looking at old newsprint, yellowed, brittle pages, and this you get to have a panel. You get to really just enjoy it and see the classic art in something that's a reasonable facsimile of what it would have been as a virgin book from your local store, or more likely for a lot of people living in, you know, smaller towns and things that didn't have a comic book store. This is actually, you know, the newsstand or the rack in the grocery store. Same thing with this. You know, classic Phoenix Saga book. And just right off the bat, just look at the composition of that panel. It's just really cool. So these aren't much. Most of the time the cover price is just basically what a standard issue would be, a standard contemporary issue. Now there's a little bit of controversy because for these reprints, recreations, they're charging a full price. And a lot of people say, well, why aren't you doing kind of the image first thing, where it's like $1 or $1.50? But you know, this is, I think people still like it, and if they did the cheaper version, maybe they couldn't afford to, you know, spend the time remastering the ads and everything too. Original X-Men. Just give me some internal panels here. Magneto. Great stuff. Then this is the True Believers. This is Marvel does the #1s when like a movie or tie-in's coming out. Let's see if we can. The price there for just $1. And so the question a lot of people have is, well, if you can do this for the plugin for like the new movie coming out, or this is basically, we're going to sell. They had a bunch of the symbiote saga stuff. We're going to sell some key issues, or you know, first issues in these reprints for the new Absolute Carnage thing that's happening for where'd he go? For this guy. You know, these are plugging this. If you can do this at $1, Marvel, like why can't you do these at $1? Well, you know, these aren't necessarily plugging anything. Maybe if these had come out when, you know, in a few years when X-Men are added back to the MCU, that would be a thing, but for the moment, just it is what it is. They had a bunch of other titles, but I got this one because I didn't actually have Carnage Mind Bomb, but a bunch of the other symbiote stuff they had, I already have in my collection anyway. So yeah, generic packaging. We got a couple other things. They had a lot of everything, as you saw in the walkthrough. Got a couple t-shirts. This is just a cool DC graphic. You know, nice. You got the revolver Deathstroke thing, much like the children's book. Not for me, but for a friend. And then also this was for a friend that wanted a thermal from there. So this, you've got a nice kind of classic, you can see the color up there and stuff, thermal, just a long sleeve, you know, sort of thing. In the 90s, you throw a t-shirt over, just very basic. And so that's it as far as the haul. As you saw in the main video, they have a lot of slab stuff there. Nothing that I was actually interested in buying at the moment. And the same thing with the statues and everything. Things were fair prices. You know, you had things that were at the suggested, you know, the MSRP or just a teeny bit above. You could get into a whole argument about whether or not those prices were fair for those slabbed books, but I assume people are buying them, you know, and this is a very, you know, high volume, lots of foot traffic, lots of people come in there, probably never bought a comic before, maybe never bought a valuable slabbed comic before, and they want to have that Midtown Comics, New York, birthplace of Marvel experience. Not that Midtown was the birthplace of it, but you know, you're right there in Manhattan in a comic book store that's just an epic comic book store. I'm sure there's a lot of people that go in there, have never bought a slab book or any book of value at all, and go, oh wow, I want that, I have to get it, you know. And so with that sort of environment, you know, you can, I think, charge a little bit more, and then, you know, they've got to pay rent in fucking Manhattan, which can't be cheap. So anyway, neat shop. If you're ever in New York, give it a visit. I didn't get a chance to see the other locations, but pretty cool place.